I am so relieved / pissed off. I think I found the source.
Well, today's the day. I'm on my way out to my mom's house, which is where the workshop is. It's only about 4 miles from my house, and this is the first time I've driven the Blazer since the day I drove it home. You saw in the last video, and it started making a terrible noise. The noise is even worse today. Fingers crossed that I actually make it there. Up ahead a little ways, there's a roundabout, and when I'm accelerating around a turn, it's the most pronounced, so I'll let you listen into that. But now it's making noise all the time. Remember I said in the last clip, like, hey, when I'm coasting, it's fine. It's only when I'm accelerating. But now it's like, I don't know if you can hear it, if it's coming through this microphone on the camera. But I did a little Googling, looking up to see if people have had problems with these differentials making noises. And the only thing I could find were people complaining about them making noises when moving really slowly and turning. And that's usually something to do with the clutch discs not having the right friction modifier in them. I'm not having any of that problem. I have seen some people complaining that they've had these differentials get destroyed, but I'm taking that with a grain of salt. You know, it's people with like usernames like Badass Mustang 420 or something. Like, I don't know if I trust them to put in a differential correctly and then not mistreat it, but here's that roundabout. Listen up. Yikes. All right, well, I'm going to stop this here. I will, with any luck, be out to the shop in about 5 minutes, and I will bring you back when I start to tear this all right back apart. Okay, I'm going to drain the oil into this clear container so I can see if there's any chunks of metal. Also, I can see the actual volume. Well, no big chunks came out. I guess I'll just let that drain for a few minutes and start taking off the diff cover. Few shavings, but it's really not that bad. Alright, so I don't see anything wrong with the differential yet. I was just going to look and see what kind of shavings I'd collected here. I figured I was going to find big chunks in here. All right, guess we'll keep digging.
I am so relieved / pissed off. I think I found the source of that terrible noise. Let me show you this real quick, and I'll turn this off before I get carbon monoxide poisoning. Okay, I didn't find anything wrong in the differential, which is good because I didn't want to find anything wrong in the differential. But it sucks because I took it all apart and now I have to put it back together. But it's just maybe a gasket and some oil. I can handle that. The reason when I pushed on one wheel, I could barely get it to turn, I think that's just a brand new limited slip differential behavior. I mean, I've never really messed with one. All my rear wheel drive vehicles I've had that I've actually messed with just had open diffs, and you pretty much just like spin it like you're on Wheel of Fortune, and the other one just goes the other way. But this has a stack of clutch discs on each side that are trying to keep them from doing that, and it takes a fair amount of pressure to overcome that. That was something I just never encountered before, that probably someone who does this every day would have known and told me like, oh, no, that's normal. So then for the noise, I was like, oh, it's my transfer case, because I already know that transfer case is screwed. If you remember from the first few episodes, I found that big hole and I sealed it up and I put oil in it, but it doesn't do anything. But I thought hopefully it'll hold up because I have a new one. I just need to find the time to put it in. So then I was climbing under there, and that's when I found the heat shield for the muffler had fallen down and landed on the drive shaft. That would explain everything. So this noise, I first noticed it, or a noise similar to it. It would happen just a little bit when I accelerated. Well, then that got really, really loud, and it was a similar sound, but it was all the time, and it scared the hell out of me. And I think the heat shield just was slightly dragging occasionally, and then it fell down. And all of those noises are related to that heat shield. None of it's differential noise, none of it's transfer case noise, none of it's engine noise. So, good news, bad news. Good news, I can fix it for free. Bad news, I've been stressing about this and spent most of my day on it. But I'll take it. You know, whatever. Here we are. So I'm gonna have to go home tonight, and I'll take the Fiat because I need a screw to hold this back up. And I just want to use a short one so it doesn't come poking through the floor very far in the back. And then I need a new gasket for the diff here. But while I'm here, I'm going to replace that little bastard, which is the evap solenoid. I think this is maybe why my engine light is constantly on for an evap problem. I decided to give it a shot. It's cheap. I'm right here. So I'm going to do that. All right, that's it for today. This is dumb. The whole thing is dumb. It's completely my fault, too. I mean, if I would have climbed under there before I opened up the diff, I would have probably found that problem, but I was just worried that something was screwed up in there, and now I'll sleep easy knowing that everything's still good. Didn't see anything out of the ordinary, and I'm only out some oil and a gasket. So I'm going to pick up that stuff locally tomorrow and try to get this fixed because it's Saturday and I go back to work on Monday, and it would be nice to have this and not the Fiat. I got this thing replaced. I didn't film it because I didn't have any way to fix my tripod under there. So hopefully I can clear the code for the engine light and that won't come back on, but I guess we will see. And I think that's it for today. I'll bring it back tomorrow when I have some oil, some screws, and a gasket, and hopefully nothing but good news. See you then. Well, I was going to record this outro with the Abarth in the background, but it's so low I couldn't sit on the stool I usually sit on, so now I'm sitting on the creeper, and I'm still too high up off the ground to fully get the car. This is more my style than the Blazer, but you need a winter car, you know? So anyway, I put the differential back together, refilled it with fluid, another bottle of friction modifier, and that was it. Put it back together. I pulled it out to the driveway. I wanted to clear out the light for the evap error that keeps coming on, and just from pulling it out and parking, it shut off and it's not saved anymore. So it looks like I might have fixed that. I guess time will tell. Of course, now the ABS light is on because I had it sitting up on jacks running for 5 minutes yesterday. That confused it, but hopefully that'll turn off on its own as well. This has been quite an adventure. I really wish I would have looked at that heat shield before I jump to the worst conclusion. But I'm trying to remember back the first time I ever noticed that weird grinding sound, and I think it was when I drove it home the first time after I put in the rear end. So it was just a weird coincidence, but since I had just put in this rear end and I just started hearing that sound, I was like, oh great, what did I do wrong? Correlation does not equal causation, and I learned that hard lesson this week. Sunday evening, gonna go home, have some dinner, take a shower, go to bed, start my week. We're supposed to get more snow this week, so it was nice to drive the Abarth for a day because it's so much fun. And after driving the Blazer, getting in this thing, I forgot how zippy a little 5-speed turbo is compared to a lumbering distributor-style ignition V6. Anyway, that concludes this episode. We'll see you in the next one, which will probably be spring. I do plan on putting the new transfer case in at some point, but I really want to work on this 53 Chevy before I waste my entire summer on the Blazer again. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.